Yeah. Victory Monday podcast, baby. Oh, we got one. Welcome back to the Nosebleed section. I am your host, as always, Joe. I am joined by my co-host, as always. What is going on, Benji? What is going on?
What up? What up? By the
Uh,
time we can throw some W's up.
oh, finally. Oh my gosh. Pull one out last night. Well, yesterday. Finally pull one out against the Browns. Great game. Uh, Obviously, there's good and bad to go over like there is every week, but feels good to finally get a W on the board. And
hmm
right before heading into our short week, we got Dallas in 3 days. So enjoy the win, but there's a lot more coming right down the pipe. But
Yep.
as always, before we get into today's podcast, as always, guys, check out the page, like, comment, subscribe. Check us out on Facebook, on Instagram. Pretty much streaming on most every platform, Twitch and everything else. And let's just dive right into it, honestly. So, what about the Cleveland game? I'll start like this. What about the Cleveland game really stood out to you the most as far as like what we did well? I'll throw that to you first.
Two things, more so than anything. And it's number one, the connection that Daniel Jones has with Malik Neighbors. Um, Even though, when you talk about Neighbors, his trust in himself and his ability to actually come down with passes and things like that, like the first touchdown. If you listen to the post game press conference, they asked him, what he thought. He's like, "Yeah, I don't think I'm going to catch this one," but he went up and he managed to snag it out of the air, turn around, and just barely get that second toe in before his hand hit out of bounds. And we had a touchdown on the board. His second of the year, his first of the game. And the other thing, like I said, we ragged on them all week last week, and I'm still going to rag on them a bit this week. But the defense, the performance that they put out there, actually adjusting and throwing out some not Wink Martindale exotic blitzing from 50 different positions on the field and everything like that, but some really smart blitzes to actually put some pressure on Deshaun Watson outside of the front four. So, like I said, shout out to both of them during this week. And I'm just like, I was shocked. They put 8 sacks on the board. I was not expecting that out of this team.
Yeah. I mean, I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. It felt good to really sit back. And I mean, I started the game. Obviously, the start was like nightmare start. Like fumbling the ball, and then the first play they go off and score a touchdown. 11 seconds into the game, you're already down 7-0. You're just like, here we go with this shit. Like, but the ability of the guys just to like fight the whole time and just battle back, go back down. They went through all like because the Browns were flying for a bit. Like they were flying. Like their defense, they had that momentum. The defense was flying around. The corners were locking us up, and that ability to just go back and just sustain that long drive, getting good runs, getting good first downs, and just kind of picking them down and going down and scoring and kind of silencing that crowd and taking them out of it because they can get loud over there. Like being able to go down and just score and just kind of settle everything down, and then again, just to, like you said, it was just like it was surprising. It was just a surprising time. I was shocked through most of the first half. Like I was just like, it's crazy. Like I didn't see that coming. But let's jump into I guess what I want to say is like a first big point of this, and we're gonna go for offensive and defensive sides of the ball, but another solid performance from Daniel Jones. Like he had his moments, but overall, like a really solid performance from Daniel Jones. Like, what were your thoughts on him?
Well, this is going to go into kind of sort of the entire offense's performance, and I don't want to get too much onto like the play calling and stuff like that because the play calling for the most part, except for one play yesterday, and that was the pass that they tried to have with Malik Neighbors run. I'm like, what the fuck was that? But other than that, the play calling was actually really good. I am going to call out one other thing because I'm older than you, but you know what the Miracle in the Meadowlands, the original one, was. When I saw us run a pitch at the end of the game, I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Granted, that pitch turned into a 43-yard run, but whatever. Like, it is what it is. But let me not get on a tangent. But the thing is, like, I think in the first, I'd have to go back and look at the statistics or whatever, but just to show like the efficiency and everything, I believe Daniel Jones was completing 90% of his passes in the first half. It was absolutely absurd how on point he was. The problem is that in the second half, when Cleveland made the adjustments that they did, when they just said, you know what, fuck this, we're not getting beat by this dude no more, the offense like disappeared. And it turned into like, all right, let's try to figure out, let's see if we can hold on and see if this 14-point lead will sustain us for the rest of the game. And to be fair, it like almost didn't, because we sat up there, they rolled Denzel Ward over and had him blanketing or following Malik Neighbors, shadowing him for the rest of the game. And even though it's not every single receiver's fault, you're still looking for somebody else to step up. And they kind of didn't. So the other part to that is, once again, we had another Devin Singletary fumble on the very first drive coming out of halftime. And it's just like, come on, we gotta fix this shit. We have to fix this. Like, the greatest running back in Giants history works over at WFAN. Right? You want somebody to say something, just call Tiki Barber up. Or just put on some damn film. High and tight. We do this shit all the time. We said this exact same last week. High and tight. And when you start to feel that contact, throw that other hand up there. They should not be ripping the ball out of you. But this is like, it's one of those things where it's just like, you see a lot of good. You see some things in here, and I'm not trying to go way too far off on this shit, but you see some things in there where you could see maybe why it is that they've had all of this faith in all of this, this whatever it is that I'm trying to say. I can't think of the word right now, but why it is they stuck with him or with Daniel Jones so far. You could see it in the performance today. But the fact is, like, just like the Arizona game last year, you only saw it for a half. And we need to see more of that. If he's going to continue to be the quarterback of this team, because, like, we could sit here and, like, talk about Cam Ward and whoever else till we're blue in the face. But the fact is, if we get put into a position where we can't get him, then we're going to have to find something else to deal with for the following year until Arch Manning comes out. But
here we go.
But I'm just saying, like, you can't sit up here and live like in the future. You have to live in the right now. And I cannot and will not and have never been able to root for us to fail for something else. So while we're still playing football, every time the Giants take the field, I am hoping for the success of every player on that field, regardless of how I feel about them. So, as I've been said 100,000 times, I don't think Daniel Jones is the guy to lead us to the promised land, but I sure as hell hope he proves me wrong. Because otherwise, that means we succeeded. Like, right? But anyway, like I said, like that's my biggest thing with him is the fact that, like, we only saw it for that one half. I honestly hope that this doesn't turn into a thing where everybody is just like, all right, if we go over there and we roll our covers towards Malik Neighbors, then the Giants offense is just done. Like, we got to have something else in the wings for that.
Yeah, I mean, all good points. For context, Daniel Jones was 24-34, 236 in the air, 2 touchdown passes. He was sacked twice. QBR was a 72.8, and rating was 109.4. I thought
Time out real quick before you go even further. This is what I was talking about. If I remember correctly, Daniel Jones had 178 yards and 2 touchdowns at halftime.
mm,
That's why I'm just like you gotta have something better than that in the second half, and that's not just on him, but it doesn't exclude him either.
I agree. I agree. Yeah, I mean, to me, it was one of those things. Like again, like we saw, just in general, we see out of him. Not even just like just last week, but just in general thing. It seems like we play a good like half a ball, whether it's the first half or the second half. Even if it's the second half, and it's like, okay, we were down, but then you came back in the second half, you made adjustments, defense started getting after. And this was last year too. Defense starts getting after, we started scoring some points, and then you lose the game, but you make it look like it's closer than it is. But it's like, in the first half, you got beat. It was 28-3. You ended up losing the game 28-21. That looks great, but that wasn't the full game. And I feel like that's just been our identity for the longest. Like we can't put together a full product yet. We put together an amazing half, and then just gotta pray that we can hold on. And I hate playing like that. But as far as the game itself was, I think he did a really good job. Like you said, he had two major moments for me that really stood out. And one was, well, I'll even say three, honestly. One was the fade to Malik that should have been a pick, but Malik ripped it out the corner's hands.
Oh my goodness!
Like it was a pick. He underthrew it. It was a pick. It was just like an amazing play by Malik. The second one was when he did hit the rollout, and he had Theo Johnson on the throwback, but he hit that rollout and he had his arm hit and the ball went flying up into the air. And Dable himself actually said this is what he remembers Malik for more than anything. And I think that was one of the best plays of the game too. And that was, like you said, the two defenders went up in the air and they both were going to catch. One was going to come down the interception, and Malik Neighbors went up there and knocked it out of both their hands and knocked it down. And that was one where it was just like, dang, DJ, like, it's like you almost feel like you're due for one DJ F up every game, and it's like it is. There's the DJ F up, and like thank God Malik just came over and knocked it down. And I was just like, yeah. And I mean, and other than that, it wasn't like something that like really was like really eye popping to me. But there's a couple times he just kind of missed players, and whether it was drops, which isn't his fault, or just missing people. Like they hit the smash route. It had the one-on-one with Neighbors and Newsome, and he just overthrew him the first time, and then went back and ran it again. And I was like, I understand you're gonna pick your guy over anybody else, but run something different. Like, and again, DJ missed him the first time. DJ should have hit him. Like DJ missed him, and there was a couple times he just kind of missed him throughout the game. And those are the things. Like you said, like 236 sounds nice if it was balanced out throughout the game.
Yeah.
Like, it's still a decent performance, but I'm gonna give him his credit and his flowers. Like it was still a good performance. He did not fumble. He ran pretty well. He threw 2 good touchdown passes. Like he actually showed some ability to process and everything. And it looked decent, but there were still times where he missed some wide open people. He didn't make the right read, and he knew it because there was no times he got sacked. The defense fooled him, and he got up and he like kind of punched the air or something like that. And he knew he got caught. So like there's it happens to every quarterback. So there's still some times, but like I said, I think overall he had a decent performance. So again, like you said, I don't think DJ's the guy, but I'm not gonna sit here and actively just be like, yo, like throw 6 picks so you can just whatever. I want to be a big critic of the guy because I was never on board with him. But again, if he's gonna be the guy we keep trotting out every week, I'm not gonna sit here and wish that we lose by 40 every week. Like it just because at that point I'm not gonna call myself a fan. So
yeah.
I
do want to give him credit for one other thing though. If you go back and watch, he moved around in the pocket very, very well yesterday.
Yeah, he did.
And I'm talking like eluding stuff. And I was listening to Talking Giants last night, and honestly, I agree with him. I hate to say it, but at the same time, it's just like, you know what? Nobody's perfect. Yesterday probably was Andrew Thomas's worst game that we've had from him in a couple of years.
Yeah.
So he didn't. And Miles Garrett did do that to you, so I'm not. It's not that big of a deal or whatever.
Yeah,
But
no.
he he was allowing some pressures and everything like that. But like I said, Daniel Jones went out there and he maneuvered around in the pocket. He stepped out when he needed to. He stepped out when he needed to. He looked good moving around. And like I said, like considering what we've seen from him, over the last couple of years and how afraid he's been, or not even necessarily afraid, but just like how dead set focused he gets on like one receiver and like as they call it, red striping these guys and stuff like that. He wasn't doing that for the most part yesterday. So, like I said, I got to give him credit for that as well. Good. Like, make that move. Make the adjustments that you have to make, man. Again, you got nothing to lose now. All right? Go out there, like, just let him hang. Go.
Yeah, and I'll double back on that too, because that play, and I remember I sent you that video earlier, but that play where he hung in there for that first touchdown pass to the neighbors,
that was Myles Garrett hit.
Oh, Myles Garrett ripped him in half. Like, if y'all haven't seen that hit, he ripped him in half. Daniel Jones, and again, like you say, Andrew Thomas did not have the best game. Myles Garrett is really banged up too. Myles Garrett, both of his feet are jacked up. He needs surgery on like both feet and X-ray, whatever. And he was abusing Andrew Thomas yesterday. Let's just keep it a spade. The dude graded out as one of the worst left tackles in football this past week. Like, you can look it up. His offensive line grade was awful. So for Daniel Jones to hang in that pocket, stare down the barrel, stare down Myles Garrett about to tear him in half, and delivered a beautiful ball to Neighbors. Like, it was high, but Neighbors went up and got that thing and toe tapped and got both feet in. Watch that video. Watch that. And I gave him I was like, you stood in there and you didn't you didn't look and see it and try to run away. No, you stood there and you took it because you got speared. He got ripped in half by Myles Garrett and delivered that ball. So I was like, respect to you, like straight up respect to you. You stood in there and you took that hit and you delivered that ball, and that's what I want to see. Like, not saying I want to see you go out here and get freaking hurt, but I want you, like you just said, let him hang. And I hate that, but I hate that I got to this point. I hate that I got to the point of like, got nothing to lose now. Like, why does it have to be to that point for you to play like this? And that's what, again, to you credit what you said, like, it's just like, why does it have to get to this point? And it's like, this is what frustrates people the most, especially a lot of Giants fans, because we see a performance like this yesterday. And of course, okay, fine. Offensive line was rough the past year, a couple years, whatever. I get that. Not having that major number one guy. Okay, I understand it. But still, show some progress as to what you do. Like, even in your decision making, even in your processing, you're reading the field, your awareness, like just getting rid of the ball. Like, the play that drove me crazy last year when we were playing the Eagles and Saquon ripped off an 8-yard run on 1st and 10. And then on 2nd and 2, DJ scrambled out right. Instead of throwing the ball away and making it a 3rd and 2, he just steps out of bounds and negates an 8-yard run and made it 3rd and 10. And Brian Daboll was losing his mind on the sideline. And I'm just like, this is the problem. This right here is the problem. How do you not just throw the ball away? Like, that's the decision-making I'm talking about. The awareness I'm talking about that he lacks. So it's like when you do stuff like that, and then you go off to in this game yesterday, and you have the wherewithal to do something like that, that's what frustrates us, because it's been 6 years of you having some dumb idiot game where you sit back and you throw 3 and 4 interceptions, staring people down, missing passes, taking hits you don't need to, making horrible decisions, and then you go off and you look like next coming to Tom Brady. And it's like, why can't you just be consistent? Nobody's asking you to go off and throw 5 touchdowns and 500 yards every week, but just don't.
Well, some of these guys are, but
but bro, like just don't shoot your own team in the foot. Like, that's all we ask. Put yourself and your team in a position to win. If your running back rips off an 8-yard run on 1st and 10, don't run out of bounds for minus 8 yards on 2nd and 10, on 2nd and 2. Just, the play's not there. Throw the ball out of bounds and live for 5. Now it's 3rd and 2. Your whole playbook is so third and 2. On third and 10, you're very limited as to what you can do. And defenses that aren't ours, that play 15 yards off the ball on third and 10, are going to play at 10 with their heels at the 10 on the yard marker. So when you throw it underneath for 6 yards, they all just rally and stop you short, except us, because our corners like to play 15 yards off, because that's just the Giants' defense. But we'll get to that in a second. But that's what we want. Like, yo, just show progress. And now it's gotten to the point where you're in year 6, and everybody's just like, well, I mean, Cam Ward and Shedeur, and they're all coming this year. Next year is Arch Manning. So, you do this year, and then it's, see you later, DJ. Like, people are putting all these lofty expectations, like, oh, unless you throw for 4,000 yards and 40 touchdowns and get us to the Super Bowl, you gone. It didn't have to get to this, though. But show progress as a quarterback, and we would have been fine, but you have not. And then you do stuff like this, and it's like, well, maybe he can. And now we have to go into Dallas on a short week on Thursday. And if we don't see a performance like this that's going to show some more hype, all that stuff's going to come right back as to, well, this is why he's not the man.
Yep.
Moving on. Devin Singletary and the run game in general. Thoughts on that? I know you already touched on Devin briefly.
Aside from the fumble, Devin Singletary he's been good to decent. Or I said that backwards. Decent to good. Catching the ball out of the backfield, he's been good. I love that we're starting to implement Tyrone Tracy. Where did I pull that one from?
Ooh.
I love the fact that we're starting to implement Tyrone Tracy into the offense. I am a little aggravated, though, because the way that they're implementing him into the offense is as the fourth receiver, when I'm just like, you're basically telegraphing stuff with Jalen Hyatt when he comes onto the field, because all you do with him is you run deep and then that's it. So I would like to see a little more. I know we're talking about the running game, but I would like to see a little more implementation of like Hyatt just being on the field rather than have him being out on the field for this right here. Because, like I said, then when you do bring Tracy into the game, it's just like, all right, are they running the same thing that they ran before with Hyatt on the field, or like what's happening now? Kind of like, so. I said, other than that, it's just like, just hold us the ball, man. Come on, stop killing good drives.
Yo, literally, that's 2 weeks in a row, because that Commanders drive, we were getting ready to go down and score again, and
that's the difference right now between us being 2-1 and us being 1-2. Because everybody goes back to, we didn't the kicker this and the defense this and Daniel Jones this and Malik Neighbors should have caught this or whatever right there. But the fact is, the way that drive was going, and maybe it doesn't end in a touchdown, but the way that drive was going, we're scoring.
Yeah, we were walking down the field to start the second half. Like, sustained drives, and that's why I've been loving these past two. I won't lie, like these driving, like, again, after going down 7-0 to start the game against the Browns, having that sustained like 7-minute drive and going down and ending in a touchdown, like, so whoa, where's this been at? Like, and then we had like a 90-something yard drive that ended another touchdown. I was like, oh my god, like 8-minute sustained 12-play drives ending in touchdowns. Oh, like time of possession, great. The screens.
I mean, we ran successful screen passes yesterday. I don't think we had run a successful screen pass since 2009.
Yo, we were killing them with the screen game. Like, it was just look this way, throw this way. Devin Singletary, Theo Johnson got one. He was just dumping them. The pressure was flying, and he was just right over your head. I was like, yo, the screen game.
That one to Theo Johnson, I looked at and I'm just like, this is going to get busted up right from the start. Next thing you know, it's just going. I'm like, okay.
It was like a fake to Devin. It was a fake left I don't know if it was to Devin or Malik or something, but it was beautiful because Daniel just started dropping back. The D line just started flying at him. And I want to find the all 22 for it. I gotta see if I can, but I think it was Neighbors or Hire somebody. He looked left and they faked, and the defense flew to him, and he turned right back right and dumped it to Theo, who just had a lineman down in front of him. I was like, "Yo, what is this?" Screens, I was like, "Yo, all our screens are working. Like, what is going on?" And then freaking Devin Singletary can keep his feet because over here getting tripped up by a shoelace. Like, you cannot
listen.
Shoelace tackle, bro. Like, come on. I love seeing we're getting like 12 and 15-yard screens off. Like, I love that. But stop getting shoelaced. Like, the third arm, put the arm on the ground, pop back up, getting shoelace tackled. Oh my gosh. Yeah, the screen game was on point yesterday. I think Wan'Dale had a decent game. I want him and DJ to be more on the same page. Like, that's the only thing that's killing me. Like, I don't know if it's DJ misreading it or Wan'Dale stopping his routes. I don't know the disconnect is yet. But like it just seems to be that there's a disconnect between those two. And I really want to get on the same page because there's certain times where Wanda and Theo Johnson too, and Theo's a rookie, so I give him, he'll get there. And I think Belly should get a little more opportunities too. And also, like you said, double back, put Jalen Haddon on the field. Yeah. Except for stupid just go routes. Just okay, first down, bomb it to him. Okay, he missed. All right, now come off the field. Like I hate watching that. He got one target yesterday. I think he played like 5 snaps. I hate watching it. But I mean, other than that, like you said, it was a tale of two halves because the first half, the play calling was great. The execution was great. The offensive line didn't have the best day, but they had a pretty decent day. He gave up 2 sacks. From what I'd read and what I saw, I feel like it was mostly the left side of the line. Like Runyon and Andrew had like a rough outing. Schmitz played pretty well. Schmitz played pretty well. Luminor played well, and Van Roten played pretty decent. So, like I said, with the tale of two halves, the second half, the Browns made adjustments. They put their best corner on the league. And that's at that point, it's like you said, you need somebody to step up. Like Wan'Dale needs to be a mismatch nightmare. Hyatt can be a better nightmare to me, a better nightmare mismatch kind of guy rather than Slayton at this point. And Slayton only had 1 catch for 7 yards yesterday, and then he left the game with a thumb injury. So like, we need something. We need somebody else to really step up and be like that guy.
Now, real quick before we move on or anything like that, I do want to shout out Wan'Dale for one play in particular because we had a play. I don't remember exactly what happened on this. I think it was a read option or something that DJ ran, and he got outside, and we got called for another bullshit holding penalty, and it was like it ended up being like 2nd and 16 or some shit. Because the holding penalty, you know how the penalties, right? It's 10 yards from the spot of the foul.
That was that belly ball?
Yes, the one with Dude flop.
Mm-hmm.
Dude said that he literally just got his ass kicked, but he decided, I'm going to sit up here and I'm going to throw my arms up in the air and draw a flag or whatever. I honestly hope every single one of the referees that went over and conferred and said that was a penalty get fired. Fuck that. All right? It made no damn sense. You're going to sit up here and get sold like that out here getting finessed in the middle of a fucking game.
Yo, he got just because he got pancake. He got pancake good too.
Mm-hmm. But like on the very next play, it's 2nd and 16. And Joe, because I have the same type of feeling about this shit. The moment that penalty happened, we're just like, all right, it is what it is. Punt the ball, and hopefully we'll pin him, and the defense will give us the ball back pretty soon, right? Mm-hmm. Nope. Very next play, 20-yard catch and run from this dude. Wan'Dale just caught the ball, made 2 or 3 guys miss. Next thing you know, my man is 20 yards down the field. I'm like, bro, what the fuck?
That dude.
And I think the one pass that Daniel Bellinger saw yesterday, one man went down like he was a fucking wide receiver, got his arms up under the ball or whatever, and just scooped that shit up out of nowhere. And all these guys were like, no, hit the ground. The ref was like, nope, that was a catch. And they went and showed on the replay, and it's right up under the ball. Okay. This is why I'm just like, we got these weapons, and this is why I'm saying somebody else needed to step up.
Mm-hmm.
Something else needed to happen, whether it's like the play calling that was just designed to be going to Malik Neighbors the entire time, because like last week he was like 70% of the offense or some shit. Or I don't know what it was, but at the bottom, whatever it is, there needs to be some type of trust that's built up with Daniel Jones, the coaching staff, and the rest of these guys that are out there. I love Neighbors, right? But again, we cannot have it so that the defense is just like, all right, well, we're just going to roll coverage to his side, and then that's it. Like, Giants' offense is just done. We need something else besides him. Slayton got to step up. Slayton is the most tenured Giant that we have right now, if I remember correctly, him and Dexter Lawrence. But as far as the offense goes, it's him. Step the fuck up. Like, you want to get paid and you want to prove that you should be here. Like, step up. All right? You've been playing with Daniel Jones your entire fucking career, aside from the 2 games you played with Eli. Like,
Yeah,
like that's it. Like,
you're right. You're right. I mean, but I honestly, at this point, I think this is going to be the last year of Slayton. I think this is.
I think he's going too. I think he's going too. But at the very least, put the stats out, put the highlight tape out there for somebody else. As long as they're not the Cowboys or the Eagles.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. It's like, I think Slayton's going to end up just being. I don't mean, everybody keeps talking about trade rumors and stuff like it with him anyway. I don't know if he's going to get traded. I don't know what we can really get besides 5th, maybe 6th round pick, compensation. Ain't gonna be nothing crazy, but I mean, I'm more excited for the offense anyway moving forward, because again, he's gone means more opportunity for Hyatt, and I think Hyatt needs to be on the field. We invested a 3rd round pick in the guy, and we're only playing him 5 snaps a game. If nothing else, he's developing his route running, but if nothing else, he's going to take the top off the ball. He's going to catch one of these defenders slipping, whether it's just a straight go, a stop and go, a deep post, something. He's going to catch a defender slipping, and he's going to be more of a factor in his offense. Like, I think he needs to see the field a lot more.
And this is why I say he needs to be on the field more as well, because you can't just put him out there and run him out there for a go route, a deep post, a 20 or 30-yard dig route or some shit like that. Like, no, you got to actually put him out there to show that he can run the slants, that he can run the outs, that he can run the hitches and all this other stuff. Because then it turns into those double moves that can open him up deep. So, like, I know I'm dumbass fan number 3 sitting on the sideline trying to be a Monday morning quarterback. But Davo, come on, man, you know better.
No, and he was more involved last year. Like he
was like the number 2 receiver in training camp.
Like I'm saying, he was more involved in his rookie season and this whole training camp. All you saw was highlights of this guy like every day. And then you get into the regular season and it's like, oh, we have a special package for him. Your special package is telling the dude to run a fade twice a game.
Yeah.
Like, that's your special package for this guy? Like, come on. Put him on the field more consistently and see what he can do.
The conspiracy theorist in me would love if, like, the whole reason Hyatt hasn't been on the field was they were saving him for this week against Dallas. But we all know that's not the fucking case. And I'm just like,
oh. Jesus. I mean, like I said, I hope his reps get increased, like, exponentially. He needs to be on the field. The only way you're gonna get better like that is from game reps. So, like, you gotta put him on the field more. And then again, next year, year 3 of him, you're probably gonna move on from Slayton because he's on a 2-year, $12 million deal to be receiver 4 at this point. It's ridiculous. You move on from him, and then, I mean, you could draft a receiver in later rounds if you want. There's going to be multiple free agents that you can go get. We have some, decent practice squad receivers that we are developing, but I want our big 3 to be Neighbors, Wan'Dale, and Hyatt next year, and they're all young. Yeah. And then again, you have those 3 with Bellinger and Theo, which should be good. Like, regardless of who the quarterback is, you should have young weapons that you can develop with.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I mean, as far as the run game, like Devin Singletary has been running pretty well for us. Again, same thing you said, high and tight, protect the ball, especially since you're a smaller back. You look, he looks bigger, but you're 5'9", 200 pounds. Like you
Mm-hmm.
got some weight on you, but you're still a smaller guy. And then when you start running up the middle with D tackles and D ends and linebackers jumping on your back, you definitely have to protect the ball. It's one thing if you're trying to outrun a corner, but like you got 300-pound defensive tackles on your back and 250-pound linemen punching at your arms, and you want to just carry the ball out here. Like, come on, man, recipe for disaster. Like, protect the ball going up the middle. Protect the ball, like you
Mm-hmm.
said, high and tight. You start feeling somebody on your back. You grab the wrist, you lock it in, and ain't nobody knocking it out. Like, come on, Devin. I want to see more of Tyrone Tracy getting runs instead of just putting him in the game and going empty all the time. I like to see
Yeah.
him get some more runs. And I'm still Team Dante Miller. Like, I know he's sitting on the practice squad, but I still sit
Why
here
wouldn't you be?
like still sitting here like you see all the holes off the line is opening up, and I'm like, I can't imagine the holes they're opening up with Dante Miller hitting them. Like, you have 4.27 speed sitting on your practice squad, and I'm sorry, but Eric Gray just doesn't look like it right now. Like, he just doesn't. If nothing else, bring Dante up and let him be a fourth running back, but let him do some slot receiver or something. Cross train the guy, just be
Mm-hmm.
like, yo, just run a slant and you're 4.2 speed. I'm gonna throw it to you. Like, do something, but you can't have this game breaking speed sitting on your practice squad. For a running back, Eric Gray to me is, I mean, he did some special teams at Oklahoma and I think Oklahoma and maybe Tennessee, but he had a decent preseason, but hasn't shown anything again in the regular season. So I'm like, yo, bring this kid up. And if your whole attitude for the whole organization this year, offense, defense, is F it, that's your whole slogan this year, then F it. Bring him up and see what he can do. If that's
Mm-hmm.
your whole slogan, that's how we're going. That's how we're approaching this season. We don't care what anybody thinks, what anybody says. We don't care what our record is and how we're going to lose and win games with this, and that. If that's your approach to the entire season, F it. We're going to go out and just F everything up and see what happens. F it. Put him on the field. See what he can do then. Let me call your bluff, Giants organization. F it. Throw him out there then. Like,
Yeah, man.
come on.
Because the crazy thing about him, and we saw it during the preseason, it's not just the speed with him, it's the acceleration with this dude as well. Like my man is like 1-2 steps at top speed already. And I know like the production itself wasn't there, but it was because of the fact that this dude was out there playing with like fourth and fifth string offensive linemen. Could never get on the field before like the third and fourth, like the end of the third quarter into the fourth quarter on these games.
Mm,
So I'm sitting up here watching, and I'm just like, yo, just another heartbeat of a second, and this dude is through that hole. All you got to do is give him the block for just one more instant, and my
mm-hmm.
man is 20, 25, 30 yards down the field. I want to see him out there too, because I'm just like, yo, I want to see what he can do with this number one offensive line.
Yeah. Like, he was tearing, like, in preseason. How many times we watching a preseason game and this guy busts like a 6-yard run and then a D tackle like just swipes his leg right at the end and he just trips and it's like, bro,
Mm-hmm.
like if you hold your block for 0.02 seconds more, this guy is gone.
Mm-hmm.
How many? And like you said, you got like Joshua Miles and Yadni Kajust and all these other practice squad dudes and dudes that got cut and they're blocking for you. You're getting the ball and getting touched in the backfield as soon as you catch the handoff and you're still breaking 5 and 10-yard runs. Like,
Mm-hmm.
put him behind this offensive line, which is grading out in the top 15 in the league right now, opening huge holes for Devin Singletary. If you open those holes for him and he's getting 12, 15-yard runs, what's this guy going to do with a gaping hole and 4.2 speed?
Mm-hmm. You know what else I want to see? And like, I don't know, like, I don't know if anybody's really going to be like, you know what, that could actually work. But we still have, I don't know, the 7th overall pick a couple of years ago, just sitting on the bench. How about you do something with him? How about you throw him in there as, like, I don't know, that swing tackle? How about you throw him in there and have him pull right in front of one of these fucking running backs? And just have him out there just leading the fucking way. Could you imagine? Now, granted, he hasn't been, cream of the crop when it comes to actually protecting, the right side of the offensive line. But hey, I'm talking about getting this man out in space. Could you imagine Evan Neal's big 6'7", 350-pound ass running that like a fucking linebacker or some shit, just clearing the way for somebody?
Hey, put the dude in on like a freaking jumbo set.
That's what I'm saying.
Like,
put him back there when it's like I know we got Jacobson or whatever. This dude, the dude from the Raiders that came over with Carmen Priscilla.
He's already been cut like 4 times and resigned 5.
Yeah, but it's just like, we get down there in the goal line set or whatever. Throw him in there at fullback. What else are you doing with him?
Nothing.
I'm not trying to say like have him go out there on passes and shit because that's Andrew Thomas. He's our leading receiver when it comes to our offensive tackles. We don't need to be. The man still has as many touchdowns as Kenny Golladay for the Giants. All right.
I mean, I like the idea though. Put him in a jumbo set or something like on the 1 yard line. Put him in the jumbo set and just run behind him.
Get out there, make use of what you still have, even though, like I say, he's not out there starting or whatever. Put him on the field, like I said, but give him an opportunity to develop his attitude so that he can go out there and actually kick somebody's ass.
Yeah, I mean, let alone with the fact that he's on what, year 3, and as good as Van Roten's been for us so far, Van Roten's only on a 1-year deal. So I mean, there could come a time if Van Roten leaves that you could have to put Neal in at right guard next year if we still have him. We don't try to upgrade that, because if Illuminor continues to play the way he's playing these past 3 games, there's no way we're being like, hey, great job at right tackle this year. Now we're going to slide you to right guard.
Move the right guard. No, absolutely not.
There's no way. If he continues the trend of how he's playing this year, if he does that the rest of the season, and we take him and put him at right guard and put Neal at right tackle next year, Dave needs to be fired on the spot.
Yep.
Because this has been the best our offensive line has been in a number of years.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand it's a small sample. It's only 3 weeks into the season. But if Illuminor continues on the trend he has been for this entire 17-week season, there's no way in your right mind you're going to say, hey, great job this year. You shored up our offensive line. You give us that right tackle that we've been missing for the past, I don't know, maybe 10 years at this point. Yeah, let's slide you inside and put Neal out there. Yeah, okay.
I'd say, when was Kareem McKenzie's last season? Like, that was the last time we had a good right tackle.
Like 11? 09?
Yeah, seriously.
Like, come on. There's no way. Defensively, just a couple of tweets that I saw. Renan tweeted out a couple of things. You know how I feel about Jordan Renan, but some things that he tweeted out that were pretty good. Some stats. Giants coaching staff came up big as well. Dable had Browns off balance, took advantage of their aggressiveness in the first half, which is what we touched on. I'm gonna let you do that in a second. DC Shane Bowen had a great adjustment, brought more than 4 rushers on 27 of 47%, 57% of dropbacks per next gen stats. Hold on before you do this.
That's not what I'm talking about.
You're probably going to talk about the right tackle thing, which is
no. I'm talking about something else.
Okay, well, hold on. To expand on that a bit, because I want to know what you're about to blow up at now. Shane Bowen and the Giants' defensive approach on Sunday, they blitzed 57% of the time, which I said that's significantly higher than the 25% from the first 2 games. How effective was it? Deshaun Watson went 8 of 18 passing for 92 yards, a touchdown, 7 sacks. And the 7 sacks is tied for the second most since ESPN started tracking pass rushes in '06. Actually, ESPN has been credited with 8 sacks, by the way. All right.
Yeah,
What are you shaking with?
the Commanders are winning 14-10.
All right. Well, I'm going to move on from that. I didn't need to know that. So as far as sacks, ESPN has Bobby Okereke at 0.5 sacks. It's funny. We also say Okereke. Now we look at it. Now we look at it like, how can we butcher this man's name that bad? Okereke had 0.5. Pinnock had a sack. McFadden had 0.5. Nunez Roches had 0.5. Dexy had 2. Burns had 1. Tibbs had 0.5. Aziz had 1. And
Yep.
boy Chapman had 1. You know
And
what?
out of that entire stat line, motherfucking Elijah Chapman. The way he sacked.
Yo, he sacked him, and the first person to jump on him was Dexter Lawrence.
Yo, for real.
That was amazing to see. The first person to jump on him
For
was
real.
he was like, yo, there you go, boy. Like, but you know what I'm really going to say that I'm really happy to be seeing. And we'll get to the rest of the defense, linebackers, corners, because I know you're going to have a lot to say about Deonte Banks and everything. So I'm already knowing that. But one thing I do want to say is, hold on 1 second. Okay, I am. One thing I do want to say is the one person I am proud of the way that they've taken their role in stride and actually has a bit of a resurgence is Azeez Ojulari. I think, yes, not starting, but he's come in and he's caused some havoc in these past 2 weeks. Like we had, I think it's 13 sacks in the past 2 games.
Yep.
Like, and I mean, then somebody who's not starting, but who's coming in and he's spelling Brian Burns, he's spelling Kayvon Thibodeau. The dude is coming in, he's getting after the quarterback, causing pressures, causing havoc, getting sacks, like, and you can see he's kind of back to having fun. Like he was jumping up and he was going crazy after getting sacks yesterday. Like, so that's one person like I am extremely happy to see, like, who's kind of flourishing in a new role, being that third guy who's just coming in and spelling. He doesn't have to play every down. He can come in and it's just like, if you're a lineman, and I do know that like the Browns tackles, their offensive line was banged up in general coming into the game, and then lose like the Dewan Jones goes down, Jedrick Wills goes down, Wyatt Teller goes down, like 3 offensive linemen like in that game. They had to mix up match a lot of pieces to make it work. And we just continue to get. That's one thing I want to see more. It's like, yo, like, keep attacking this. Like, it sucks that they got injured, yes, but now keep attacking that. Like, they're down 3 linemen. They're playing backup. If you have, like, you got Dex, you got whoever else in the middle, but you have KT, you have Burns, you have Aziz. These are your third string linemen now that you should be consistently attacking, like sending blitz and everything to just keep the pressure on Watson and not give them that like ability to be like, oh, you know, it's 21-15. We have a chance to win this. Like, nah. Every time Deshaun touches the ball, he should have pressure, constant pressure in his face. And not for nothing, nobody did anything against us except for Amari Cooper. Like Jerome Ford had a couple good runs, but
I think Jerry Jeudy caught like 1 or 2 passes, but that was it.
Yeah, like as much as Jerry Jeudy talks, and as much as people have wanted him for years, let's be honest here. Jerry Jeudy is approaching bust label. For as high as he was drafted, and now this being his second team, he didn't do that on the Broncos. He ain't really doing much on the Browns so far. Yeah, maybe 30, 40 yards receiving yesterday. For somebody who likes to talk a lot, you ain't doing much of nothing. Other than that, Cedric Tillman had pretty much the drop that cost him the game. Like, just keep it a buck here. Like, they ain't do it. They didn't do much outside of Amari Cooper. They didn't do much yesterday.
Yeah.
Like, and I mean, I'll give you the floor here on Deonte Banks because, you know, I will give him his credit. Deontay has been in position a lot. Now Jerome Henderson needs to teach him the next point, which is to attack the ball. One, get your head around faster, because you're right next to the receiver, but you're not getting your head around because he could have had a pick yesterday.
Yep.
So I will give him his credit that he is in position to make a play. Now you have to make the play. That's the next part. You have to get your head around and make a play on the ball. You should be between the ball and the man. That's what it should be. So he was there in position for most of the plays, but you just have to make the play now.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's on you.
All right. So part of this has to do with the way the defense is played, being that Bowen has these guys lining up, and I'm sorry, Carl Banks, I love you. You're full of shit when it comes to this whole, this thing when it comes to the defensive backs. Because he's just like, oh man, they're not good enough to man up against these guys and everything like that. And they're only playing like 8 yards off the ball. No, the fuck, they're not. Like, these guys are 12 to 15 yards off the ball on like 3rd and 3. And that dumb shit needs to stop. Right? Then, when it comes to Banks personally, right? Now, I was heated with him yesterday, but I have calmed down a bit on it because, as you said, he has been in position on just about all of these passes and everything. And it's just like, all he has to do is get his head around. All he has to do is get his hands in the right position and things like that. The Cedric Tillman drop. Deontay Banks' hand was like a split second late on the ball. Yeah. If he actually gets his hand on that ball instead of letting it get through, and we're not even talking about Cedric Tillman dropping the ball. We're talking about an incredible play that ended Cleveland's game yesterday. Mm-hmm. The first touchdown, granted, 100%, you're not expecting to be like out there playing immediately because Eric Gray is not going to fumble the opening kickoff. The hell, I'm going to be sitting here for another 4 or 5 minutes while the offense drives and does whatever it's going to do. Mm-hmm. And then we'll come out here after we get finished drawing up our defensive plans and everything like that. After we feel the atmosphere that's going on in the stadium. Now, I got to step out on the field, and the first thing I see is a fade to Amari Cooper. I get it. I understand. Turn around, you have an interception. The second touchdown, I can't get on him too much on because once this actually got broken down, I'm like, all right, I get it. All right. One of the things they were saying that Deontay Banks has improved on is not getting fooled by that first step the receiver does. So, the receiver, they'll come out there if they're running like a slant or something like that, and they really want to open that defensive back up right off of the bat. They'll throw that jab step out, to the outside first and then come all the way back in, right? Mm-hmm. So they were saying like, oh, man, Deontay Banks, he hasn't really been falling for that and everything like that. On Cooper's second touchdown, what did this guy do? They had Banks lined up with inside leverage, right? So what you're doing in that case is like, I'm not giving up this slant route. But the problem when you're lined up on inside leverage is you're giving up the fade. So it's just like, all right, if the receiver starts to show fade, you got to go because other than that, you're going to get beat. So what did Amari Cooper do? He jab stepped outside like he was about to do fade. Deontay Banks bit on that shit. Slash, wide the fuck open. Because at that point, you need to have somebody rolling up under that coverage, and there was nobody there. They literally just left him out there on the island like a number one corner should be. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, that Deontay Banks has not been one that's been able to just be like, all right, we're going to shut down this entire side of the field. So let's make this adjustment. You're not rigid when it comes to this defense. You're not rigid when it comes to anything in football, right? Hell, I was sitting up here listening because I'm a fucking mark when it comes to the New York Giants. I was listening to the radio call for Super Bowl 42 a couple of days ago, right? So I'm listening to this shit after the game. They're interviewing Kevin Boss about that long ass pass he had at the beginning of the fourth quarter. That long ass catch, right? The one that started us on our first touchdown drive. You know what he said? Oh yeah, Coach Gilbert, we just drew that up on the sideline. We never even practiced that. Now I don't know how much bullshit that was, but the fact is, like, you can technically do that. You're not. This isn't Madden. This isn't NCAA 25 where you have a set number of plays and everything that you got. You can do whatever the fuck you want to. You sit up there and make this adjustment like, all right, listen, when we run this coverage, all right, Bobby Okereke, instead of you keying in on this one dude over here, I want you to cover this zone over here and actually drop back under this slant. You know, just in case we have this jab step. I want you stepping into that passing lane.
You know,
that could have been done.
You know what's funny? It's funny you said because on that play, Darius Musa was out there, and I remember on the replay of it, Banks got beat, but then you see Musa backtracking and trying to jump back and knock the ball down, and it made me think: was he supposed to drop into a zone there, or was it just like is it a 1-on-1 and he just got beat? That was because it was a slow developing play. It wasn't just like hike straight to the slant. Like it was like a hike.
It was like a delay. Yeah.
Amari just stood there and watched it
because it was
jabbed. Like, and then he went. It made me kind of rethink. Like, I feel like Musa fell for something that was and he should have backed up because he started backtracking and tried to jump back and knock it down. And then that's what kind of made me be like, maybe Banks was like, okay, I have the 1-on-1 here, but I know I have underneath coverage because that has happened the past 2 weeks. We've lined up, they've put me on the island, and Justin Jefferson. like now, granted, it didn't happen for a touchdown with the Commanders because we didn't give up one, but still, it was like everybody's gonna line up right. They're gonna line me up left by myself, so I'm locked on. I want to try to take the inside away, and they're gonna try to jab me. Like, and it's happened. So I felt like on that play when it was so slow developing, I feel like Musa was supposed to back up. He was supposed to drop back to take that slant away, but he just didn't, and he kind of missed it too late. That's what I thought when I saw the replay of it. And I was like, I wonder if you were supposed to drop.
If like I said, if that's the case, then like, all right, I get it. Then and that's player fault right there. I don't remember actually watching the replay or whatever because I was in between like the game and like editing photos and stuff on my phone. So I'm like,
I gotta see.
I don't know what's happening.
I gotta see if I can find it later. But I feel like maybe it was just like a after the fact kind of thing or whatever. But I feel like he was supposed to drop in a zone and take that slant away, and he didn't. Like, but I mean, you're not wrong.
Getting to the rest of it though. Like I said, aside from that. Like the passes and stuff that he gave up for the most part was just like, all right, that we're giving these passes up or these completions up because they're throwing under the fact that we're playing this bullshit ass soft shell instead of actually manning up, not just man coverage, but I mean like actually tightening up the coverage. You're sitting up there just playing back the entire time, and that's the issue that I have. With Shane Bowen and his defense. It's just like, why are we playing so fucking soft all the damn time? And like, because we sitting up there, as you read off the stats and everything, like I was enthralled by the fact that Washington was winning. So I missed some of the numbers and everything. But I'm sitting here and I'm just like, throughout the entire first half, the defense was aggressive as hell. They were out there. They were causing all kinds of havoc, right? But then when the second half rolled around and it turned into, let's just sit back, this 14-point lead, they'll sustain us. We don't have to rush anybody or anything anymore. Next thing you know, it's 21-15. And, we didn't give Cleveland the ball a couple of times, and they got the opportunity to go down there and score again. So I'm just like, I don't know, man. Like,
yeah, no, but it's what it always just seems like that's our MO. Like we'll sit here and we'll have a great half of football or whatever, offensively, defensively, whatever. And again, like I read the numbers and stuff off, and he blitzed like 57% of the time and all that. But I feel like all of that was in the first half. Like that's what I feel like. And it's like, yo, like Keep going. Like you got 7 sacks in the first half. You got 7 sacks in the first half. Keep blitzing. Like it's
Yeah.
working. We could have ended the game with over 10. Like so, it's like you said. It's like yo, what is a 14-point lead? Like, did we not? You had to have seen the Cowboys Ravens game because the Ravens
I
were
mean, granted, that happened afterwards, but still.
yeah, but still, like the Cowboys or the Ravens were just winning 28-3, and the Cowboys came back and almost won. Stop taking your foot off the gas. Like this worked great. Throw that out. Like why?
Mm-hmm.
Why? You had 8 sacks yesterday. So it tells me that you can do it. Like, oh, we're gonna just try to win with 4. Well, it ain't gonna happen.
Mm-hmm. Because the thing is, and my bad to interrupt you, but what they're trying to do is almost like the exact wrong thing to be doing. Like if you're gonna win with 4, you can't play back and win with 4. Because all you're doing is inviting like a quick passing game that's like tear you apart. So it's just like, all right, let's go out there and rush 4. You know, we spent $150 million on Brian Burns. We spent a 5th-round pick on Kayvon Thibodeau. We spent 90-something million dollars on Dexter Lawrence and however much we spent on Nacho. Like, you know, let's go out there and just win with that. Like, yeah, but like actually press your guys, right? Press these receivers, make it so that they actually have to fight to get off of the line of scrimmage. Don't just give them a free release on every damn play because then your front 4 is fucking worthless.
Along with the fact that you struggle on rush defense, so you have 3 out of 4, but you don't have that 4th D tackle that's also going to be a game wrecker who's going to cause havoc. So you can run Nacho out there, but Nacho's known for his run stuffing. So if you want to just try to win with 4, then that's not the guy you want pass rushing. You can't put Jordan Riley out there either because he's known as a run stuffer. So if you're going to have, we can win with 4, then you need 4 pass rushers. So if you're going to sit up here and have one of the worst run defenses in the league the first 2 weeks, you need somebody that's going to be able to at least rush the field on a pass. If your run stuffers can't run stuff, why do you think they can pass rush? They can't do what they're actually hired to do. Like,
even if that's not the case, like if you're going to sit up here and put it like, all right, let's make sure we got all of the pass rushers out in the field, and even if like you don't have that 4th pass rusher, that 4th guy needs to be somebody that takes the double team away from Dexter Lawrence so that he can be that guy.
Right. Give me somebody who's going to eat the double team. So now Dex is 1-on-1. And then KT's 1-on-1, and then Burns is 1-on-1. But if Dex means the guy who's eating the double team means the other guy has to take that. He can't win 1-on-1.
Mm-hmm.
You have to find somebody else.
Because it's that simple. Unless you got 6 guys blocking, like you can't double team both interior defensive linemen, right? And if you have 6 guys blocking, what does that mean? That means you have less people out there on routes. So even then, you shouldn't be out there giving up like these easy ass passes.
I know it's ass backwards, and like it's again, I don't get it. Like I said, a lot of these guys were winning 1-on-1 because you sent pressure, and they were able to cause havoc off of that. So it's like that was great in the first half, and then you sat up here and you went away from the second half. Why? Why'd you go away from it? Why go away from what works?
Just got a notification from Bad Dog going on Victory Monday as well.
Oh gosh, I won't be switching over to that.
My only issue with him is he's like so stuck on Saquon. I'm just like, dude, he's gone. Just shut up.
That's why I'm not watching him. Nobody wants to hear it. Like nobody cares. I'm not doing a Giants. I'm not doing a Giants podcast and focusing an hour of it on Saquon Barkley. Like, get over it.
Yeah,
get over it. Yeah, it hurt. I get it. Like, look who you're talking to. Penn State fan. Watched him the whole time. Went nuts when we drafted him. Thought he I have autographed Saquon stuff. The guy's playing for the team I hate the most. I'm not talking about the guy for an hour. It happened back in March. Need to move on. I'm going to cheer on Devin Singletary now. Like it is what it is. Like it sucks. We're gonna have to see him two times a year for the next however long he's in Philly. It sucks. It is what it is.
Well,
yep. I'm over that. I'm past that saga. I'm cheering on who's wearing a Giants jersey now. Like, get over it or don't call yourself a Giants fan. Stop crying and bitching about that same shit. It's annoying as fuck. Anyway, only things I have to talk about just looking at some of the defensive snaps and stuff like that. The only thing that really kind of jumps out from it is I guess I'm looking at the D-line rotation, and it's what we were kind of alluding to as far as snap counts for like the different D linemen. Like Dex only played 79% of the snaps yesterday, and then Nunez Roches only played 66%, and then Chapman played 31%, and Davison played 27%, and Riley played 3%. So it's kind of interesting to see. It's kind of what we allude to as far as they're trying to find that second D tackle, because obviously Nunez is going to get the bulk of the second because he's probably the next best guy. But then you have your youngins who they're trying to develop and get and sprinkle them and to try to figure out, to try to see what works. You got Davison, you got Riley, you got Chapman, all kind of in the mix. And it's crazy that Chapman is getting the next most snaps. He's getting 31% now. Like that, I find that interesting. And the only thing I really find interesting is like I was literally the whole game was wondering. I was like, who the hell is playing CB2? And that was
flat.
It was flat. I know. And it's, I mean, he didn't do a bad job yesterday, so I'm like, okay. But I don't know how to feel about him. And then again, I know Phillips, I think he exited early because he had like a calf strain or something like that. And I know that's why
he got hurt.
I saw that, which sucks because I want to see him on the field more. And then you were down to Adoree, and then the guy Art Green that they have elevated from the practice squad.
I was so confused. Like, who the hell is that? Who's this number 35 that's out on the field?
I could have swore we got rid of Keon Crossen. Like, I could have swore he wasn't here anymore.
Yo, for real. Like, the first thought was like, yo, did Kevin Dockery come back?
I was staring at the was that and the fact that I'm so used to seeing Adoree in 22. I'm like, who the hell is 21 playing corner?
Yeah, for real.
Freaking Tiki Barber out there. Freaking Adoree Jackson wearing 21. I'm like, okay, I forgot about that. And that's the same thing. I was like, 35. I was like, Green. Who the hell is Green? And it was like Art Green just elevated from the practice squad yesterday. I was like, oh, great. This guy goes from quarterback 3 for us. Great.
The funny thing is, like, when I saw Green, all right, the first thing that popped in my head, I was just like, wait a minute. I know we didn't get Ronaldo Green. So who the hell is this dude? Like,
I had no clue who that was. I was like, yo, who the hell? And you know what kills me about that? We didn't have this dude the entire training camp, preseason, nothing. And then just go pick him up at the practice squad. Like, why not get if he's still available, why not go get Trey Herndon? Like a solid veteran.
Then again, I don't know. I didn't fucking like him when he was here. So
I mean, I thought he did really good besides the freaking interception. He fumbled after like a 50-yard return. But I thought he played solid in preseason. So I'm like, why not get somebody that you play with in preseason that knows the system and put him down there? Like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't get it. We're not supposed to get it, I guess. Freaking Mulasal only saw 4% of reps. Neighbors saw 85% of reps. The whole O-line, Daniel obviously saw 100%. Singletary saw 68% of reps. Wandale only saw 60%, which I kind of don't like. I want to see him on the field more.
That's the 2 tight end shit that we've been running.
Yeah, Theo saw 81%, so they're really focusing on him. Manhurts saw 38. Belly only saw 36. Tracy saw 31%. Hyatt saw 14. which pisses me off. Eric Gray saw only 4% because after that fumble, they were like, "Yeah, sit your ass down somewhere." And Jakob Johnson only saw 3%, 2 snaps.
Yeah. I mean, considering Seth Rollins was at the Bears Colts game yesterday, I was thinking that Drew McIntyre was in Cleveland and clayboard the shit out of Eric Gray.
Jesus.
I would have.
Before we get out of here, short week. Thoughts on Thursday night? I can't watch it for Amazon Prime BS or whatever is on shit whatever.
Well, no, you should be able to get it because like that's a local market game. Like I think like legally they're supposed to be playing that in this area. But thoughts on the game? Shit, when the hell was the last time we actually beat the Cowboys? 1963 or some shit, or at least that's what it feels like. Like I said to you earlier, like I don't expect us to win this game. I hope that we go out there and at the very least are competitive. Because like honestly, we lost last year by a combined like 83 to like 14 or some shit. And that honestly left a really, really sour taste in my mouth. And I know you said earlier, like the Eagles are like your most hated team in the division. They are for me too, but it's just because of the fact that I honestly like. As much as I hate the Cowboys, I still respect them because they have the rings, they have the history.
Mm-hmm.
But that don't mean I still like losing to these motherfuckers. I would very much like to see how it is that we match up against them with the new defense because we went out there with like the Martindale thing and we were trying to blitz all over the place and it was just like, all right, we're going to line CeeDee Lamb up in the slot and then he's going to go for 450 yards. But like with us like this right here, what I really want to see is like how they actually try to match up with him. If they're putting CeeDee Lamb in the slot, who are we going to have covering this dude? Because is Drew Phillips going to be out there? Like, would you even put Drew Phillips out there as a rookie against like one of the best receivers in football? Are you going to have Deonte Banks shadow? And if that's the case, like, then what? Like, the other thing is who's on Brandon Cooks? Like, as much as I hate them, like Dallas is fucking loaded, and I would, as much as I love the fact that they're 1-2 just like we are. Like,
yeah,
I'm like,
I feel you.
We this is gonna be a short week. We're not staying at home and being at home. This is a home game, but we're still taking this flight from Cleveland over here, which is about what I don't know. It's like about an hour and a half, maybe.
Yeah,
but still, it's a flight that we're having to take after a second road game. We're coming back home for this one, so it's not like we have this super massive advantage or anything like that. And like until we start to beat that, until they start to show us that we can beat these guys, it's just like, what am I looking at? So, like I said, I don't really know what to think about this game coming up. I'm not too sure what to think about our offense against their defense, just because of the fact that like before it was all Darius Slayton, and now like there was not all Darius Slayton, but of course we had Saquon before, but now like you have a number of different running backs that can be coming in at any given time. We have the Tyrone Tracy thing, in which maybe there's some stuff that they have been holding back that we're not going to show this against any non-divisional opponents just yet, so that we can run this out there against them. Like there's always that possibility. Like I said, honestly, I'm always hoping the Giants win, but like more so than anything else, like I honestly hope that we're just fucking competitive and we're not getting our asses handed to us again.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. I'm not gonna go crazy and be like, we're gonna go and we're gonna be like, like I want to be competitive. I want to see more consistency and more progress out of Daniel. That's what I want to see. I want to see good decision making. Good ball placement, accuracy, timing. And I want to see him spread the ball out. I want to see like Neighbors getting in part of it, but I also want to see more of Wandale. I want to see more of Hyatt, more of Belly, more of Theo. I want to see a more balanced run game. Like I want to see Devin hold on to the ball. Like I want to see like a whole all. I want to keep the momentum going off of this. Like we're actually besides week one, and I mean it was a freaking outlier. And again, look at how the Vikings are just kind of running through people. I still hate that we lost, but like they also ran through the Vikings and the Texans, who were probably better than us. The Vikings are just shitting on the league right now. Nobody saw that coming. Everybody, yes, he has a Sam Darnold at quarterback, really, and now everybody's looking like, oh wow, Sam Darnold's killing everybody right now. So, I mean, I just want to see more balance, more good play calling out of Dabes, and more great execution out of the offense. Defensively, Bowen, apply the pressure. Like Dallas, we're not talking about the same Dallas line that it used to be. Like they still have a solid line, but it's not like that top 2, top 3 line in the league where Zeke Elliott's getting the ball and ripping off 15-yard runs at will. Tyrann Mathieu, stonewalling everybody out there. Like the same exact Dallas offensive line that we're used to. And if anything, I'm not gonna say besides Dak and CD, but again, you don't have the running backs that you had in Pollard and Zeke. It's not a couple of years ago where you had freaking Dez and what's his name? Dez and who's the other guy? It was Dez and CD and it was a Terrence Crawford or whatever his name was. Like, yeah, like you didn't have those 3 people and Witten and like a top 5. Like it wasn't like this whole big monster that it is now. It was. It's not what it is now. Like CD and Dak haven't been on like the exact same page this year. They've been kind of missing. And then on top of that, they have questions at receiver. Like you have some decent tight ends, but then your receiver core, like you still have the kid Tolbert, and then you have Tolbert, and you have somebody else over there, but it's not even like the same exact receiver core. So there's a chance like it's going to have to be similar to what this Browns thing was. Like, yeah, you have CD, like they had Amari, but let's try to get to other receivers that have to force you to have to force the ball to other guys in order to beat us. Don't let CD just have a freaking 200-yard 4-touchdown night. Apply the pressure to Dak because you should be able to get after him. That's what I want to see. And like you said, be competitive. But anything else?
Bros, holy shit.
Giant topic. What up? What's up before we get out of here?
Yo, Washington is up 21-13 now. And they have the ball 2nd and 5 on Cincinnati's 28.
All right, well. I mean,
what the fuck am I looking at? Yo?
I mean, I don't know. I'll tell you what. If this holds like it's supposed to be, I didn't see Cincinnati going 0-4 to start the year.
Yeah.
Well,
this will be 0-3, but who the hell are they playing next week? I don't know.
Oh, yeah, 0-3. There you go. I don't know. But let's get out of here. Bengals are overrated. Alfredo Tomato. Yeah, I mean they might be.
Listen, bro, I just ate. I don't need to be sitting up here thinking about any Alfredo. I appreciate the name, but
oh gosh. All right. Again, Giants win. GOAT team win. Short week heading into Dallas. All we could do. Let's hope for some more progression. Let's hope that the defense can get after Dak and make it an uncomfortable night. Listen, I want 6, 7 more sacks. That's what I want. Like,
yo, for real.
Yeah, us flying around the field.
I'm so sick of seeing that dude just comfortable, like it's a fucking country club playing against us. I want to see that man get hit. I want to see, like, you remember how Tony Romo used to be running around against us, like losing his freaking mind because
Mhm.
OC and Justin Tuck and Jason Pierre-Paul was always chasing. This is what I want to see from us.
Yo, for real, because Deshaun Watson was running for his life yesterday. He's just like, yo, like, are we serious with this?
I'm saying.
Like, that's what I want to see. I want to see more havoc. Like, I want 6, 7, 8 more sacks. That's what I really want. I want Burns.
Mhm.
You know, before we got it, I have to say one more thing. Even though Tibbs doesn't have the sacks and everything, that play towards the end,
Jameis Winston one.
yo,
Holy shit!
that play in the end of the game, yo, he timed that thing perfect.
Bro, the ball was snapped. As soon as he snapped the ball, Tibbs had this man wrapped up. I was like, oh my God.
My man just shot down the line. As soon as he got the snap, boom, blown up. And Tibbs just stood there. Like, everybody was jumping on him. He just stood there, just walked off. And I was like, oh, my bad. I wasn't aware you're gangster. I apologize. Like, he got his 0.5 sack, and I'm happy. But that play, I was like, what the fuck?
Yo, for real.
Yo, that props to him on that. I was like, that was, oh my God. All right, let's get out of here, guys. Thanks, as always, thanks for watching. If you're new to the channel, check us out. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, do all that. And we will always try to do better than the next podcast. It'll be pretty much every Monday night, 8 o'clock. Catch us two crazy idiots going either extremely happy like we are now or ready to burn down the entire civilization that we call Earth.
Yep. There may be a Jets fan with us, but, you know, he said he wanted to join with us, but, you know, he stepped on the MetLife Stadium turf and broke his tooth. So,
freaking MetLife curse still exists.
I'm saying, man, fucking MetLife.
Until next time, guys. Have a good rest of your Monday. See you next week.